about it. We hope everybody is having a wonderful week thus far, and there's a lot to talk about. And we are just there's not a real big a main topic we're going to talk about today. There's just a few things we want to talk about. So, but not a main topic. So again, we hope everybody is having a great week, and we are still looking for those topics you guys might want us to talk about. If you have any comments on the past, let's talk about it. Even the past table talks we had, we're looking forward to seeing your comments and some of your topics that you may want us to talk about. And again, that email that you can email us those topics is WIMartin, MARTIN, Charlie Foxtrot Tango at gmail.com. And this is Talk About It with William and Shannon. And I'm just going to hand it over to my big buddy here, see how his week's been going.
Man, blessed but extremely busy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not it hasn't been I would say it hasn't been overwhelming. It's just like a lot of little things you gotta a lot of brain power, I'll say it like that. That's been the primary thing that I've been dealing with. Is just you have to think on this, think on that, think on this, making sure all the plans are right. And then on top of that, on top of purposely saying on top of that is to make sure that I'm still getting my time in with God, make sure I still get my time in with my wife and my children.
Yeah.
And I'm transparent right now, sometimes it is hard to balance or juggle. I feel personally, I feel like I should not have to balance this thing where I'm feeling like it's a task. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
I don't want my children or my wife to feel like they're a task. Uh, but then there's times where I'm just like, oh, I just want to sleep. But I know my daughter, she gonna come and she gonna say something. Hey, Dad. I'm like, or my wife, she gave me a honey-do list, and I'll be the first. I'm gonna admit it. I procrastinated. I was supposed to plant them privacy trees like about 3 weeks ago, man. I came out and watered them now because we were gifted with some, and they were sitting in these 7-gallon planter buckets,
Right.
and so I would keep them watered because I just didn't have the to go and get it done after getting off work, then going to the counseling center, then
Digging
wash,
holes.
rinse, and repeat. Yeah, I was like, man, and then I look at it, I'm like, I ain't gonna do this. I'll put it back. I'll put it back. I ended up planting the garden for us, the above ground garden, and I looked over at those trees and I was like,
I get to you in a little
"Bye."
bit again.
Man, I started mugging the trees because they were just, trees can't
We
talk,
do that.
but
We do that with a lot of tasks, and
man,
I
yeah,
used to. I honestly, man, I used to be a very good organizer. I used to put things in priority really good, But man,
hmm
I'm losing it, man. I'll go to a project. I remember you were talking about something a while back, and you were talking about uh 100 or whatever you got to give it, if you're gonna do it, you can't do a you can't do something 50 and then give the other 100. I mean, I just
yeah,
I listen, I told myself I need to get that four-wheeler out of the shed, and I need to get the boat out of the that little two-man pontoon boat I got. It's
hmm
sitting, I got a cover for it, but when the rain hits, you know how the rain just pushes down. And so
yeah,
I
yeah,
said, I can't do any work inside of my shed unless I move the four-wheeler out of there. And then I got the boat sitting over there, water just getting into it. And then when April comes, it's a lot of rain. So I just today, man, I just got off my butt and went out there and put those posts in the ground, and then put the some of the framework up. And I'm like, okay, I see it. now when I come back from Trey's graduation from basic training this coming week, uh I know when I get back, if I see that like that, it's gonna push me even more just to get it done,
Yeah,
And
because
one of the good things
complete.
about so I just had my roof done because
Okay.
we had some hail damage on the roof, and so man, I had a lot of shingles left over, a lot of shingles, like over a pallet. And so now
There you
I have
go.
shingles for that shed that I'm building. Now also I can take that metal stuff that I have off of my little my hut that I made for my grilling hut. I
Hmm.
can take that off and I can actually put the shingles on that and everything will match my house. So yeah, so that
See,
that was
that
a that
worked
was a
together.
blessing too. Hmm.
That ended up working together,
Oh
for
yeah.
the better.
But
I
I gotta get it. I gotta get it done. I just because I'm going up to the church too. I put those cameras up. Man, those cameras at the church looks great. Great. Because if you
I
seen
peeked
the
at them.
past, if you seen the past footage of church lately, you're like,
I looked at Sunday's service. I was
mhm.
I was watching. I think, man, I think that was maybe Tuesday, but I peeked at them last night when I was at church, and I was like, okay, this I like this, man.
You see them rotate. They're pretty smooth, man. Yeah.
Do they have a? Are they that awkward sound like that?
You
Yeah,
don't hear
or
it.
they just kind of?
You won't hear it.
Oh, that's cool.
They're
That's cool.
quiet.
That's
They're
cool.
quiet. Yeah, they're quiet.
So
And there's
I
3 of them. There's one above the pulpit. It looks back
uh-huh.
at the congregation, and then also
Okay.
it'll turn around and look inside the baptism pool when if somebody's getting baptized. So, and then the one that's in the middle, up underneath the TV, it actually
Mhm.
zooms in just right all the way into the baptism pool too. So, they're pretty good,
Mm.
man. I think it's a really good upgrade
Well,
to the church's
I,
uh,
I
media.
mean, hey, that makes me think. What if somebody was on? I'm not people out here. Listen, I'm not saying our media team would do that,
He about to
but
goof. He about to goof, y'all. He about to goof.
if they would have that camera going around and say, "Ooh, somebody on Facebook in the middle of church." He'd be
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, we caught you in 4K.
caught
Get
you,
off Facebook.
caught you. Yep, yep. Supposed to be listening
Get
to
off
the word.
YouTube."
Supposed to be looking to the word with you on Facebook. Hmm.
Hey, I'll be one of those. I'll be one of the speakers
Instagram.
to be like, I'll be one of the speakers. I'll say, "Hey, tell me which one was it? Hey,
Mhm.
you, what was I speaking about 10 minutes ago?" Uh,
No, it's just one of the media
man.
teams. Get their phone and tell the person to do something. A message pop up. Hey, you're on camera.
Oh,
Yeah,
look up.
yeah.
This is not the kiss cam this time.
Hmm.
But no,
So it's
I
what they call Passover week. It's people are talking
yes,
about Good Friday, and I am
that's
excited about
tomorrow.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm excited about Sunday because of the word. Some of what God's given me so far, and
Mhm,
man, it's every time I listen or I pay attention to um the history, and I don't want to say story because it's not a story, but it's history of
mhm,
God coming and dying for us, and the moments that took account before he even reached the cross, and then the
mhm,
during the cross. Not some After the cross is awesome, but to really understand before and the during while he's hanging
mm,
there. And I mean, from the part of his blood dripping and touching the ground, and it's just so much. And I'm excited about it, and I get something different uh every time you know I I study and think about uh the cross. You know,
It's there's a for me there's a guy, I can't remember his name. It the memories it's not serving me right now, but he gave a medical description of what Jesus went through.
the hemorrhaging and stuff,
And
and when his skin
yeah,
got so thin, that's what happened. His skin got
God,
so thin because his humanity was, you know, it
breaking him
was
down.
fighting. It was breaking him down. Hmm.
Like this guy, his description was so like I tried something. Okay. And I will tell y'all, do not try this if you're not ready. First of all, my crazy self, I'm gonna set the atmosphere. I listen to I listen to like this somber, just like meditation style music. It was just instrumentals, right? As YouTube. And I went back to that video. So I calm, I wanted to calm. Now I'll do this. What I'm saying, I will do this while I'm trying to meditate on the word too. The same thing. I will kind of set myself to be calm where I can hear what God is trying to say, where I can understand the concepts or precepts that God is trying to teach me, whether it's for a message for everyone else or just something, just my own personal study time.
Hmm.
Well, I did the same process, and boy, went and watched that video, and I'm in a calm, relaxed state. It's quiet outside. Matter of fact, it was late at night, so there was nothing going on. It was super quiet. And so I hear him talk about what Jesus was going through from the Garden of it's
Gethsemane.
actually Gethsemane,
Hmm.
not get. We always in here in England,
English.
in English
English, we say
tongue, we say
Gethsemane.
Gethsemane,
Hmm.
but they say Gethsemane.
Right.
So from there, from the garden all the way till he gave up the ghost, the man gave a description, and the the degree of detail that he put into each act, even to understand how Jesus was able to pray so hard that his sweat was as blood, or was, excuse me, was
Yeah. No,
blood.
yeah. He sweat
It
blood.
was He was in such a despairing point that he bled, or he sweated blood. So he was vehement in his prayer, but yet and still intense and heartbroken, and the flesh didn't want to do this because you know, I didn't do anything wrong.
He
Why I
was
got to do
feeling
this
the
for them?
despair. He was feeling the heaviness of his listen, everything that he's about to feel.
And they
Everything that
know
he's
it.
about to feel, he knew it in his humanity. It was fighting it. It was fighting like, and but the mission, that's he knew the importance, man, the importance of the mission that's more important than you.
Mm.
The importance of a mission that's more important than you. And how many times do we put ourselves first in front of a more important mission than, but because we know what the mission is going
I've
to
done that.
take, what, I'm
Yeah.
not going to put myself in a position that I have to deal with that or feel that or, deal with these people. So I know it's important and it's more important to me, but physically, I just can't do it. Mentally, I just
Or
can't.
will or how many times have now I've said it, you know, I try to rationale use rationale or like like a sense of currency where the mission has to benefit me
There you go.
in some sense. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not getting something out of this, then why am I doing this?
Mm.
And Jesus really, I mean, let's be honest. The only thing he got out of this was first and foremost the physical pain that he went through, the agony of the beating and excuse me, the beating and the flogging, the beard being pulled, a crown of like just for instance, just touch your head. And they
Mhm.
shoved a crown of thorns.
Yep.
Like, I mean,
We can't even take
you know,
the thorns on the little rose bush, the little thorn. Listen,
man, I'm gonna tell you now, if I'm weed eating, if I'm out there weed eating and one of them stray weeds kind of nick me, that man's hurt. And it's just for
It does.
it's
Put your safety
temporary.
glasses on, but yeah.
No, no, I'm saying I've had one hit like, above it. I
Mhm.
always wear my glasses, but I've had one hit above it and it
Man,
left a little
I
mark.
weed eat with shorts on and they hit my legs and it hurt.
Ooh. Now think about that. That hurt, but we haven't been through nothing that pulled our skin off our
Put our
backs.
skin to the bone, to the bone.
And if you know anything about how the Romans did whippings,
Mhm.
it wasn't just his back. Okay, because that thing would wrap.
Wrap his around and they pull it wrap from his back all the way back around.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it would be, I would even tell you the only piece of skin that he may have had left was probably the center piece, maybe about 6 to 8 inches wide on the center of his chest, because the design of that cat o' nine tail whip, it's designed to latch, like it would just latch and pull.
Pull your skin open. I mean, just
And so he had open bones, sinews, tendons, ligaments, muscles showing, and they wasn't intact. This stuff was torn. And then now think about that. The cross was 300. The average Roman cross was about 300 pounds.
mhm.
Now, if I'm hungry, you're not putting 300 pounds on my back. I can lift 300 pounds, but
You
let
gotta
me just be
carry it.
hungry.
Right.
And he had to carry it for, if memory serves me right, it was about 2 to 3 miles, if I'm not mistaken, from where they first put it on him, and he wasn't walking in a flat plane. He went up a hill.
But you know what that made me think though?
Yeah.
Jesus was a
What's that?
beast.
First of all, he wasn't this little skinny dude
Jesus
that they
was
was putting him out,
listen,
making him out the beast.
Jesus was a beast. I mean, but it also, I don't care how tired I am or how sick I am. If I have to save my wife or my child
Yeah.
from something, i- it's something's gonna kick in that is going to, I'm gonna surpass that tiredness or that
Mhm.
whatever from, I'm gonna get that adrenaline that's going to get me to what I need. And when
Sure.
you were
Yeah.
talking about what he got out of it, literally he was getting his child back. He was getting children back. He was getting what he had created, what he lost back. And
Now, so would most of us, excuse me, would most of us be willing to go through that when you ask that question? What am I getting out of this? We ask those things when we different business deals. If I come to you with a business proposition, you're gonna ask, and rightfully so, what are you getting out of this deal? And that's what I mean. Like, yes, he was getting the reconciliation, but when we put this into our minds logically, you got this child that refused to obey you. You still love him, but these joker, this
over,
this this child
over
was
again.
hard headed. You have chastised and you restored. You chastised and you restored. You've bestowed blessings upon this child. I mean, and you are wealthy, like stupidly wealthy. So your child wants for nothing,
Mhm.
to the extent that other people will say, "Man, that kid is spoiled." And you whoop them, give them their chastisement, and then that child gets right for a little bit, goes back into the thing that you just told them not to do over and over again.
Mhm.
But yet you go, and then now think about that rationale. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna suffer because my child's supposed to die. Because they done did something that's worthy of death. They supposed to die. No, is I'm gonna do it. So we put that in the context for now today. I just question how many fathers um would still step up to that when this is the child that rejected you. Now, I'm not just talking about Israel. For God so loved the world.
World, the Gentile too.
He came for everybody. And we all our ancestors, we was in the loins. The whole world had walked away from him. Jesus had to come just to show. He said, I'm opening the kingdom. I'm presenting the kingdom. So if you look at when he was teaching, he always would say, for the kingdom of heaven is like this. He was reintroducing them to how the kingdom of heaven is. What's the currency? What's the way of thinking? How should we process? We're not fighting with hands anymore. We're fighting with the words of our mouth. And when I leave, I'm gonna give you power, and that's gonna be the sword that you're gonna use, i.e., the Bible. You're reciting God's word as your mode of weapon. So I get excited when I think about what he did, and but it's a humbling, and there was a lady.
It is humbling because nobody else could do it. Listen, nobody else was gonna get up there and take what he took for a human.
I don't think
You know what
anybody could.
I don't know. Nobody could. I mean,
physically.
they probably would have been dead before they hit
That's what I'm saying.
Went up there on the cross. I mean, they would have went in the shock. They probably would have died, went in the coma, and just died. But you said something a second ago. We fight with the mouth, and we were talking about earlier, and I really want the audience to understand what we were talking about when we were talking about the fight, and then we talked about resist, and those are totally two different things. We talked about fighting, and then the fight isn't ours. The fight isn't ours. But when we resist, people think that you just had a fight with the enemy. No, when you resist, to resist means to walk away from it, to avoid, resist the devil, resist the enemy, which means resist evil. And we were like, if I'm going to resist evil, I'm going to run from it. First of all, before I run from it, I'm going to call it out, say it's evil, and then I'm going to run from it. I'm resisting so I don't have to go into a fight.
Right. Yes.
And when you're in a fight, now you're trying to come back out of it. So, and then, so you go back into the resist mode. But once you go in there, now you're fighting to come out of it. And we're just supposed to resist. And when we resist, then God is allowed to fight it for us as we resist it. And we continue to not call evil out, and we don't run from it. And when I mean run from it, we are supposed to avoid it as much as possible. I mean, we are supposed to do everything in our means to run from evil, resist it. And if we resist, anytime you resist, it's a tug to where it's trying to get you to fight. It's trying to get you to partake. And you're like, get off of me, and you run from it. Listen, tried to get me, but man, I got away from that one.
And see, that's the so I would take it a step further and say that the fight is in our pride to think that we can fight.
Right.
He because it's a okay. You think about especially the man, like man, not mankind, like XY chromosome man.
Hmm.
We're taught to stand and fight to defend our families, right? So it's so ingrained in our nature that we don't it's hard for us as men to then run because you've been taught so long to fight. Even in your sports, even in a sport, whatever sport it is that you play. If you play basketball, you're not just gonna give up the game without what fight.
Without a fight.
Football, we're not just gonna lay down and let them run all over us. We're gonna fight. Even if you're an offensive player, you're gonna fight. You want to take the hit to the defensive player. If you're a
Right.
defensive player, you want to take the hit to them. You want to fight. The team has to show some fight. So now we are learning a new way of doing things. And I personally have had to learn that where it's I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna do I can't just sit here and just let things happen. And literally what God is saying is walk away and let me. I'm undefeated.
When we're praying, we take we take it to the devil. When we get on our knees,
Right.
when we say, "Okay, God, do your thing," we are taking it
Right.
to the devil. We are taking it to the enemy, and we're saying, "I can't do this," but I tell you what, I'm gonna sit back and watch God do it.
And that
Man,
takes a strong person
have
to
you
do
ever
that.
sat back? I remember man, I had my sisters I had when I was younger, some people were messing with me, man, and man, I got to the house and they were still there. You know how big man in them was, man,
Hmm.
go get him. Go get him. And
Mhm.
and you watching God do his thing. You resist having to strain. You resist having to use muscle you
Yeah.
shouldn't have to use. And let's take it back to the husband.
Mhm.
What do we do to protect our house to resist any possible issues with having to fight somebody to come in? Listen, we put up security cameras.
Mhm.
We got solar lights, we got floodlights, we're posturing our house in a way that is deter anybody to come in or try to come in to have it to where you're going to have to fight. You're resisting. It's
See,
a sort of resisting. It's a type of resist.
but see that I like that example because okay, now here we go. Let's talk about it. So there's layers to that what you just said. Okay. So I think about the lights, the floodlights, right? And the lights that's on the cameras nowadays that'll if it's the motion, they sense the motion and then the lights flash.
Right.
Um that's an initial deterrent because it's like I see you. It's telling the crook or the perpetrator
Hmm.
you are watched, you are seen. Now, let's translate that to the body of Christ. Christ, excuse me. We are in the church. Let's say we're having a church service. Watchmen can see, they're the flashlights. Ooh,
Right.
you see, I see it. Now, what does your security system do? It doesn't blast it, it gives you a
An
quiet
alert.
alarm.
Hmm.
It'll send it to your phone or it'll alert inside the house. Motion detected, right? So when we're in, let's say we're in a church service and the watchmen pick up on something. They pick up on something is wrong in the atmosphere. Something is in here that's not supposed to be in here. Sometimes it's not for you to get that microphone and this ain't supposed to. No, I see you. All right, bet. I know what to go do. Alert. Who are you alerting? Hey, God, you gave me this gift to see. I see what's going on.
Right.
Now go into prayer. Now you dispatching. Because watch this. The other thing your security system will do is if your door is breached, it sends a signal back to the 911 call center. So the watchman should be sending the
Alert
prayer or the
to
signal
the rest of the
back
family.
to the 911 call center.
Yep.
Because
Mhm.
sometimes we're gonna be asleep. See, me, I'm dead. Sometimes I might be asleep, but while I'm sleeping, what will wake me up is the alarm going off. Now, until reinforcements come, I'm gonna defend the fort.
Mhm.
That's when the rest of us in the sanctuary, the rest of us, we're like, whoa, oh, okay, I know you not, devil. And then we touch and agree. That's
Wait,
the reinforcement.
waiting on God to work.
And as we touch and agree, now we're fighting and we're pulling down corporately, pulling down strongholds. Now, watch this. As a byproduct of that, when God enters the room, dun dun dun,
Mhm.
whatever that was, gotta go. Now, once he's there, there are byproducts that we all get. We all get blessings because he's there. Watch this. That's not necessarily meaning it was the intended blessing that he said, you, Shannon, you, William, you, whoever is supposed to get. That's not the prophetic.
Right.
That's a blessing because of the spirit is there. Now, what am I saying? There are blessings like strongholds being pulled down in your life because we've connected together, right? That's a blessing. You will see people get delivered and they're crying out because they're just joy. And it's like we wasn't even praying for that. That's a byproduct.
Right. Right.
That's God. When he gets there, whatever is not supposed to be. Now we was targeting it on one thing, but whatever is not supposed to be there, i.e., stuff that's plaguing some of the other members of the body, it's got to go too. You know, don't find it strange that people get healed when we was over here praying for financial breakthrough. He's here.
He's present. He's present, and he's like, "Well, I'm here, and I know I heard your heart. I saw your heart.
Mhm.
It done. Done, done. You also done. Here you go. You
Yeah.
hey, it's like he when he comes in, he's like Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. You
Yes.
get blessed.
It-
You get blessed. Here goes your blessing. Oh, hey, that prayer that you've been praying for the last month. There you go. You
got it.
got it. But
Which
that is why we are supposed yeah, commune
obedience.
and commune with God. And I'm not going to go into
Mhm.
that because that's we're going to talk
You gonna
about
have to
that.
hold that one.
But hey, I'm holding off on that one. But man, it is to resist the enemy, and you are continually getting tugged by the enemy. He's trying to get you to turn around to face
Man,
him. To face he's constantly trying to do one of
yep.
those Job moments. You know
Curse God and die.
touch you to touch your finances, touch you in a touch one of your family members, touch your relationship, touch your job, and that's him tugging, trying to get you to react in a way that we shouldn't even react. At all
Mhm.
times, the reaction should be resistant. To resist when we worship, when we go into worship, when we go into prayer, when we go into
Mhm.
praise, we are resisting. We go to resist, and when the prayers are going up, when the worship is going up, the fight has been taken to the devil. The
See,
fight has
that's
been
what that
taken to
man
the devil.
said. We had Elder a couple weeks ago. He talked about Job, and remember, he said Job's posture when all of that stuff happened. He his first thing to do was to go worship. And you know, the flesh, when if you, I mean, I look at my children, man. Job lost, he had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he lost them.
And
God, I mean, you know, really, if you really apply and really allow yourself to think about what that is, okay, for me,
would you stay
and I
saved?
can
Would you stay saved? Let's just be transparent. Let's be transparent for all those that's going to sit here and watch this right now.
be
If
honest
he
with yourself.
took be Job, he took your job, he took your house, he took your family that lived in he took your wife, your children, and you're standing alone. Do you stay safe? That's do you still believe in God? Do you still do the work for God? Do you still carry on in your calling, or do you take a pause because life just happened?
I must be doing something wrong.
I must be doing something wrong. So do you continue? Because to continue is to resist. I'm continuing to walk.
Yep.
That's
That, man, that's tough.
And so, and I'm not just asking the audience, I'm asking myself, where is my how deep is my love? Because when we tell God we love him, because do you really? Peter, do you love me? Will you keep my command? Peter, do you love me? You know, William, do you love me? Do you say who I am, who I am? Do you, everything's going great for you right now, and you love life because it's beautiful. But these things that I have given to you, that I have given to you, not that you went and got, these things that I have given to you, if I pull them away, because I'm the only one that can pull them away because I gave them to you. So if I take them from you, will you still love me the same way you say you love me now?
Yeah.
And
I can say
that is the question. That is the question for all of us that say, I love God. I'm saved.
I got it a little bit.
With the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, I got it a little because when we lost our twins, I remember I remember the day we lost them. My heart broke when we was in that hospital. Like I have never, like, it was, you know, I lost my mother before. I lost an aunt. I lost a grandmother. By that time, I think my grandfather too. You know, I've been to funerals. I've experienced it, and the one that was the closest was losing my mom. But man, when I held my daughters in my hand, to this day it still hurts. You know, because there's times where I think about, oh, they would have been doing this at this age, because they would have been a year older than my youngest. Now, can you imagine that?
Yeah,
but
Cameron be Collins be terrorizing them. They be terrorizing Colin, and Colin be terrorizing
back and forth.
them.
And as a father, you know, I probably would have been sent up there. I get on to him, sure, but then I'll sit back and just be like, "They're my babies. Those are my babies." And I think about that, you know. But the first thing I did when we got home is I went outside and I watched our vehicles. And Tavy didn't understand that. But the reason I did that, one, I was crying. Number one, I was crying. But
it's hurt. It does hurt. It hurts.
But I sat there, and as I was crying, I started praying. Now, I'm not gonna say on here that I was worshiping. I wasn't in a place of worship. I want to be 100% honest. I was in a place of, I said, Lord, what happened? And and I said, Did I do something wrong? You know, did I sin against you because you said children are a blessing?
Mm-hmm.
And that day he didn't give me an answer. And so I was like, what do I do with this where God didn't answer me? Similar to Job, not as spot on. I'm not gonna say I was spot on, but when I didn't get an answer. Job didn't get an answer immediately. When he fell down to worship, the Bible doesn't say that God answered him. It doesn't say that God even said a word until he came and put a stop to everything. All of that was going on, you see the dialogue between Job and his friends, and Job and the messenger, and then Job and the prophet that came. That's the people talking. God came at right at the end and said, all right, enough is enough. Job, you think you a man. Stand up and gird your. So, like we would say to our sons nowadays, oh, you think you a grown? Stand up and face me then. And then God, for what 3-4 chapters, went and questioned Job with stuff he couldn't even fathom. None of us can fathom, truthfully. But when I prayed and I just was like, God, what happened? He didn't answer. He didn't answer. And so I just cried. And when I was out there washing my trucks, my two vehicles, I was crying and I felt the peace though. I just felt God's hands just sit on me. And in that moment, I was like, I was comforted. He didn't say anything, but I was comforted. I had a choice in that. I had two choices in that moment. I could drop everything because God, you went against your word. Because some people will say that children are a blessing. So why'd you take my child?
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with God. And they go on.
God must not be real because he wouldn't have done that.
Or, God, I still serve you. I don't understand it. Maybe I'll never understand it. Maybe you'll reveal it to me when I make it to heaven. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna serve you because I do love you.
One of the things is to, if we can get to a point to where we say, all right, God, it's not for me to understand. If
You
we
got to be
can,
okay with that.
you got to be okay. But we got to be able to get to a point to where we say, all right, God, it's not for me to understand, because unless you want me to understand, you're going to reveal something out in this. You're going to reveal something to me, and maybe you're going to reveal something, but it's not for me to understand why you used this event
To reveal it.
to reveal it. So it's something for us to understand. It's all, anytime we go through something, it is something, it is something for us to understand, but it is not for us to understand why he is using this particular event for us to understand. We just
Right.
get
Yeah.
upset because the way he's doing it, but our ways are not his ways. His ways are not our way. Our ways are not his ways.
We
And
be
so
wanting God to talk to us all the time and just tell us stuff.
Mhm.
But him telling you things, look at your life.
We want
I
to be a
mean, just be
dictator to
honest.
God. We are
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
become a dictator to where we say, okay, God, move. I want you to move like this. So move like this. And oh yeah. And when you do it, don't go up, don't do that because I like that. I don't want that
Right,
messed with.
right.
So don't touch it. Just do it the way I asked you, please.
Teach me your ways, my way. That don't even sound right, do it? Teach me your ways, my way.
My way.
That's what we telling God. Teach me your precepts, your concepts. Teach me when I read the Bible, give me revelation, but give me my way.
Do it. Give me a revelation where it won't convict me, where I don't have to change myself, because I don't think there's nothing wrong with myself. But
I'm
I want
good.
to be able to understand. I'm good, man. Just give me some stuff so if I'm talking to somebody else, I can hit them with it. I can hit them with it.
Yeah.
But I don't need no changing. I'm good.
And so, okay, and I got to this point when I experienced the loss of my sister-in-laws. I said, well, heartbroken, couldn't wrap my mind around the time frame, the
Back to back.
concept of both, yeah, both of them being gone. Like, I was like, what is going on? And God said to me, now I heard him say this. You are thinking like the earth is your home. If I took one of them or both of them, they're in their home.
Mhm.
I was like, I got it. We preach and teach about heaven. So now it hurts. We're not saying that it's not gonna hurt
But we don't want them to go until on our time.
until we ready. Now, I will not say this. I'm not saying this in a judgment to anybody, to anyone. Let me be politically correct, grammatically correct. I'm not saying this as a judgment to anyone. But if you be honest with yourself, 100% honest with yourself, if you are presented, you're laying on the bed or whatever, you're standing, whatever, however it may be, and God Himself says, if you will accept it, I'll take you to heaven right now. Or you can stay here and figure it out and maybe make it. But you're good with me.
Right now, you're good with me, and you haven't. I'll take you right now. Ugh.
What's your choice? Now, knowing here's the little caveat. Read the description of heaven.
Yes. Yes.
Read the description, not what's there now, the promised description of heaven. Pearly gates, 12 foundations, or with 12 foundations with the names of the apostles written on it. Huh? The 12 gates with the names of the tribes of Israel. Transparent gold. Walking on that.
So if I don't choose
Precious
that,
stones.
so if I don't choose that, and He says, "I'll take you right now." So if I don't choose that, because priorities start taking place,
Mhm.
you can, God, I can't leave. It is going to heaven more important than your children.
And then he responds to you. You
It
can't bring them here anyway.
you can't.
What do you do?
What is your question? And I would love to present that. It, you know what? I would love to have a bucket and ask that question at the church and just tell them
Yeah.
to write it down on a piece of paper and just start pulling out. Don't put your name on it. Just start
Mhm.
pulling out the names. I got to stay here with my child. I got to stay here with my wife. I got to stay here with
And
my
you
husband.
know,
There's things that I
some of us
haven't
gonna give
done yet.
the biblical statement, but it's like, no, like honestly, you can give the Christian church statement. I'm go with the Lord because that mean I know I'm gonna make until your body is wrecked with cancer, or your body is wrecked with leukemia, or not leukemia, pneumonia, or diabetes is taking over so bad, or whatever other disease, right? Or it may not even be any of that. You may be similar to one of the prophets where he's just, you're no more because I'm about to take you.
Right. Oh, what?
And you got a choice.
And then you got
And
some, they get sick unto death, But you get some, and we're not talking about the moment where God said, all right, I'll take you, because if you say I'll take you, he's saying I'm gonna take you right now. If you choose, you're gone. We're
Right.
not, but if you don't, you're gonna have to deal with cancer. And if you don't, you're gonna have to deal with this. Are you willing to deal with this, or would you be willing to go to heaven right now? I'll take you right now. These are and God won't, I'm not saying he won't do us like that, but what if he gave you that choice? And what is more important? Because you said it. Yes, this earth was designed for us to live on, and we messed that up. So now heaven is our home. Heaven is supposed to be our home. And do you want to stay on this filthy, nasty? It gets worse every day. It gets worse
Until
every
he
day.
remake it.
Now, if I leave now, would my life bring somebody to God? Would my funeral bring somebody to God? What will they say,
At my funeral.
at my funeral? And I'm telling you, if God would say, choose me right now to go to heaven, and you're here, or would you stay? I'm telling you, I'm gonna say, take me, God. You know why? Because to not have to resist anymore this flesh, and to
Come on.
deal with the possibility, because we always say, man, I know you still got to deal with human. You still got to
Yep.
deal with this flesh, and this flesh, it is constantly trying. I mean, Jesus said, if it be your will to allow this cup to this to pass from me, which means he was in such a state that his flesh was trying to give him to give up, to change his mind. And our focus in our life is to make it. We don't got to go on no cross. The cross was already done, but we are resisting. We are like, man, God, if it be your will, let this cup run. Listen, take me right now. If you'll take me if you take me, because I don't want to have to deal with this mess. I love my wife. I love my husband. I love my children. I love my parents, but I love you more. And that is also for the person that loses. I love you more. So I'm not going to give up on you. And I know that you give, you take away, you give life, you take life, and it is yours to take.
Now, see, when Job had that mindset too, it's something to note. He did not have a deadline as to when his trials and problems was going to end. There was nothing. God hadn't said. No prophet that came to him and said, "Okay, well, you only got a little while longer." It wasn't like we see in some ministries or churches today. People are going through, and God said, "Wait a little while longer," and on I got you, or this praise is attached. And I'm not on that campaign of destroying other people's thing. My only question to you is, when you gave that praise, did it happen? You got to test test the word. You test the spirit by the spirit. This next praise is for this person or this next praise is for that job, and then you didn't get the job. So then the response is, well, you didn't praise hard enough. So I go all the way back to, I don't want to go on that tangent, but Job did not have the promise of a breakthrough when he said, I'm still not going to curse God and die.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the middle of hell on earth.
Yeah.
He didn't curse God. And I think about that, and I'm like, no, I'm not, Lord. You do what you want because you God. Ain't nothing I can do about that. I'm not saying I want to be tested like Job. I'm telling y'all that now. But what if your name is the one that he calls?
Right. You said
You
something
see,
about
no.
testimony, though. Let's go back to the testimony part when you testify.
Mhm.
So testimonies are beautiful, everybody. I love testimonies and we need testimonies. But he hit at it, and we tell the tale of coming through and getting. But in the testimony, you never hear about the person, because his grace and his mercy is sufficient. And there's many
Mhm.
times that he give us things when we probably shouldn't have. So in the testimony, you never hear about the person acting up and God still giving it to him. We never hear about us acting crazy, acting a fool, and God still saying, now you know better. You know I'm still gonna do it for you because I love you and my grace. But why are we always here? We only hear, I knew he could do it, and I praise and what about what about the times when you was acting stupid? And he still gave it to you. Testimony with that.
What about when you didn't know you was like the three Hebrew boys, you facing the fire,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know if he gonna bring you out, but you know he can.
You
You know
start
he can.
you start whining, boy. You start whining. And I want everybody to know that Shannon and I, we talk with each other, and we get to moments where we like, bruh, let's pray. We pray with each other, and we uplift each
Yes.
other. We get that strength because let's really be real. Let's really be real.
Ooh.
All you so sanctified, you never whine, sanctified people. Let's really be real, okay? I
I
know
do.
we supposed to give it to God. I know. Listen, I minister, teach, give it to God. But let's talk about when the human part of you start whining, and you got. I'm talking about before you gather yourself and come back to reality to God.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, this is part of your. That should need to be part of your testimony to tell everybody the truth. Tell everybody the
Because you
truth.
didn't always know. You didn't always know he was gonna do it. Come on now. There's some times where you was like, God, I'm about to be out here looking crazy. And you telling God, Lord, I serve you. Don't let it
That's
end like
supposed to be
this.
making me look ashamed.
God, I done told everybody that you did this. You blessed me with this. And I'm about to lose it. Jesus, what the? Come on, y'all. Be honest. We done did that. And if you're not gonna be honest, it's fine. I'll say it's me. I did that. I done said that.
I say it's me. It's me.
I'd have been like, God. And and I'm like, you know what? And I have said this. This is before. I'm telling you, before I came to my, centered and came to my senses, it was days. Like,
It done made you
Come
sick.
on,
You weren't
somebody.
taking the Cedrin migraine headache medicine.
They
Listen,
be like, they be at church, lift your hands, and you just,
we never want to
I'm in
be
obedience.
we never want to be transparent because we think that that's going to make people think that, we less of a saved person than, but
Mhm.
listen, we all have to get to a point. This is training ground for growth,
Yes,
for growth,
yes.
and being real with yourself. Michael Jackson said, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Let's look at the man in the mirror and let's tell that man in the
And be real,
mirror,
be honest.
that's who you really are.
Yes,
That's who you really
yes.
are. You and told all them people that you just praised and you got in your car, worship and all this other stuff. But yesterday,
Boy.
boy, what'd you say? You said what? Okay, you had to get to the altar. You had to go into
Did
your
you bring it?
closet. You had to go
Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
bring it back,
It's
sir.
like we will mess our own selves up. Like and I'm not saying don't testify. Neither one of us is saying don't testify.
Right,
What we're saying is when you testify, tell about the other part of it too.
right. Because
It's
somebody whining just
we
like you were whining.
yes, we should not judge each other for whining. Everything that Jesus did was an example.
Yes,
Everything. He understands the groanings that our body has. He understands the pain. He cried when Lazarus died. It says he one translation said he wailed. He cried loud when they said he was dead. When he got there, he was dead. He was sad. His friend died.
Mhm.
Now he's God in the flesh, so he was like, yeah, he not staying dead. I'm paraphrasing, He said, but God, the Father, this has happened so the Father may get glory. Lazarus, he probably didn't say it with that deep voice, but whatever. Lazarus, come forth. And he did. But the point of it, before he came out, Jesus himself cried.
He said,
Before he had
"This is what y'all gonna do. This is what y'all gonna do. Me crying right now. Y'all gonna do the same thing." And I understand. And so I
yeah,
understand. I understand body, what this body feels, what the mind of this body feels. So now,
yeah.
how
I got
long
a
are you?
question though.
How long are you gonna cry and whine?
Oh, good, good. Because there's a time and place when you got to put your big boy pants on, your big girl pants on. He said this to me. He did this to me. She said this to me. She did this to me. They plotting against me. They this and they that. That's acknowledging what the plan is of the enemy. But at some point, we do have to wipe them tears. We have to be who we say we are. We really do. And this is the walk that's going to be. That's your proofing. That's your proofing.
But sometimes we're crying because we want. That's us being the dictator. If I cry long enough, God is gonna do it and give me my way. If I whine long enough, he'll give me my way. He'll get tired of me. He'll get tired of me whining, and he'll give me the way. Give me my way.
Hey man, I'm gonna be a little bit more transparent. I remember one time. No, it wasn't one time. It was a couple times. I actually cried because it was the pain of what was going on. But I cried like that was gonna get God's attention. Now I can laugh at it because I imagine myself him sitting there letting me like how you let a baby cry.
Yeah, they'll be all right. They'll go to sleep in a few
Yeah,
minutes. They'll go to sleep in a few minutes.
I think about the situations now, and I'm like, man, I just imagine God sitting there like, he all right.
Mhm.
I'm in my crib because I don't regressed to my infant stage in him, crying over nothing, over what I perceive to be as something small, or I mean, excuse me, something big when it's really not.
Right.
You know how you have a baby, they have that fit, and if you go do it for them, they not gonna understand the concept that you're trying to learn, get them to learn. Sometimes it's patience. Patience is hard to learn because not only do I have to wait, but it's how I wait while I'm waiting.
So is God's grace and mercy his patience to us? He's
I
the
believe
parent.
so.
He's the parent, and he's giving us he's giving us some I'm giving you this time. I'm giving you this
Hmm.
time. I'm giving you this time. I'm giving
I
you this
believe so.
time. And his patience with Israel. We about to close, everybody, but Jesus
Oh
had to
dang,
have
we get
he
the
got
time.
he got some he's got patience. His grace and mercy is patience because to deal with Israel, to
Hmm.
deal with David, yes, he's after God's own heart, but to deal with the things he had, there was some pay to deal with Saul and allow Saul to continue on even when during his torment. There's some patience there. Because in his patience, he's I have patience with my children because with my patience, I'm teaching them. I'm teaching them in the patience.
Hmm.
So, but we hope everybody enjoyed not table talk, but let's talk about it and this segment of it. And again, we hope everybody has a beautiful weekend, as people say, Easter Sunday. And I would say this: don't let this just be your only Sunday that you go to church in out of the
Hmm.
year. Find you a church, find you a good church that teaches the truth, and go
Hmm.
commune in church and remember God. Remember what he did. If
Absolutely.
you know that he died on the cross for you, you know this to be true. You know that he rose up on the third day. It is our responsibility to find a family to fellowship with and go get the word and commune with God and go into the temple and give him worship and give him praise because you know for him to be true. And so I ask you, don't let just it be a formality that you go because it's what they call Easter or Passover Sunday. I ask you, find your ministry that's going to teach you the truth, that you're going to spiritually grow. And if you want to come to Christian faith and see what we're about, if you're in the Wiregrass, I believe that Christian faith will bless you. Our motto is we're just not a church, we are a family. And we are of the apostolic faith, the teaching of the apostles. We teach that Christ is God all by himself. He is one Lord, there's one faith, and there's one baptism. And we ask you to come fellowship with us. Come fellowship with us. We are at 4081 Andrews Avenue, Ozark, Alabama. And that's 36360. And we look forward to having you. Our doors are always open. Sundays,
Mhm.
we start Sunday school, and Channing here, he is the Sunday school director, and we begin Sunday school approximately 10 o'clock, and we start worship service at 11 o'clock. And so, and Wednesdays, we have Bible study at 7 o'clock. And so, if you want to tune in, we are on Facebook and YouTube. And and again, we hope that this segment was a blessing to you. And if you have anything that you want us to talk about, if there's some subjects in the word, if there's some subjects just out of the blue, crazy
Mhm.
things, please tell us.
Yes.
Send us, text us, because we have our phones on while we're talking. And if you see us looking down at different things, we're looking at that, and uh, we're willing to talk about it. All right. It might
Yes.
not hopefully we give you the answer that you're looking for, and we might even give you something crazy.
Hey. It's spontaneous, so
It's
just
yes,
be
it's
ready.
spontaneous. So be ready. And we just like to have fun about with it. And again, have a blessed week, have a blessed weekend. And remember, Jesus died for you and he rose on the third day. God bless you.